Hey everybody, how's it going? So yeah, I don't know how much you guys know about this situation, but it's got me really disturbed. I wasn't even planning on going live, but I started watching this woman's videos, and it really freaking started making me sick to my stomach, and really started making me think of reminding me of some things. Okay, there's even people who are coming up. I haven't even finished watching it. I just got started in this, and yeah, I'm going to give a rundown. We're going to try to watch some of these videos a little bit earlier on, but the main things I'm focused on is the East Tennessee connection and the fact that, I stopped when Dan Armstrong's name came up. I'm just going to say that. I was like, I got suddenly sick to my stomach. If you guys don't remember, I looked into Dan Armstrong and a lot, because I was very suspicious about the whole Brandon Lawson, how all that shit went down with Ronnie Lawson's son. Dan Armstrong was the district attorney over that case, and he just thought it was a good idea to use his assistant district attorney, put him in basically the line of fire. He was new to the position, from my understanding. He was a black man. We're in East Tennessee, so people, anyways, he was strategic about how he did this, in my opinion. When he chose the man he wanted to make sure he used this guy. He put him totally in the line of fire, but it was totally under Dan Armstrong's direction, and he is the district attorney. He is, and Ronnie Lawson and them are very, very connected. I started looking into these people so deeply, but then Jim passed away, and I kind of got away from it. And honestly, I'm not gonna this is honestly kind of scary, and I don't want to delve into it too much, and I'm kind of moved away from YouTube. I do tarot for a website now, that's what I'm doing, and I'm really focused on that and doing really well. But when we have, when I have something major I want to talk about, or, with something Summer Wells, which I do believe this could tie into Summer Wells, in a way. And it really reminds me of Donna Serafina's readings. If you are a believer at all in psychics or whatever, it really, really lines up a lot with what her reading said. This guy is very scary to talk about, because this goes all the way up to people like Trump. Trump gets mentioned a lot in this situation, and I don't want to get into a political war at all. I'm not even going to get into that. What I'm interested in is the East Tennessee ties to this situation. I don't even know too much. This Sascha Riley actually is a man. I guess he likes to go by they or them. Or something. I'm not sure. I'm just learning this, so I'll try my best. But he was a male by birth, and my understanding is his dad trafficked him or something, to people in very prestigious, very prestigious people. And Trump comes up a lot, and it makes you sick. And one of the areas they talk about a lot is East Tennessee. And oh my God, dude. Then he brings up Dan Armstrong. You have to watch what this woman is saying. So, no, Sascha, this is a man, actually. He's talking about his experience. He's claiming, this guy comes out. I don't know all about this yet, but we're going to watch it and learn together. But from my understanding, he's came out with his story. He's an older adult now, and people are looking into his story. And this woman I'm about to share with you was checking into him. And let's see. This is what got me. Yeah, let's go to her right here. This nerdy pink panda. And this one is the one that I'm very, very interested in, but we're going to start. Let's start right here, okay?
A new survivor has come forward in the Epstein trafficking ring, and their story is so horrific. You can't even talk about it on TikTok. I've tried to tell the story 3 times now, and I can't.
Yeah, is my banner running? And can you guys hear this okay? Because trigger warning times like a million. Yeah, see something, say something. It makes me so sick, and it's so scary that I'm not even going to want to talk about it beyond this, because, like, I'm not trying to piss off law enforcement. And that's what scared me, too, when I was looking into the Brandon Lawson stuff, dude. It was so, you guys, with this stuff coming out, it could totally open up, like, a huge can of worms. Like, that's all I'm saying, because... Like, from my understanding, this is new. Like, I just started hearing about this guy, like, a week ago. And it is shocking. And I don't know. I hope he's not living in the United States. That's all I've got to say. The conspiracy files did an episode just like this just last night on this. Well, from my understanding, I haven't been watching anything in this community because, like, there's not been anything worth watching right now, in my opinion, which I don't watch others anyways. Like, right now I've been doing my own thing, but when there comes up something that's worth watching, yeah, I'm going to watch it, no matter who it is. However, this... I feel like I don't think anybody in this community has talked about this yet, like in our close community, and I think it's worth people looking into big time. It's so weird. So can you guys, okay, can you see it? Could you hear it? Because we're going to continue. We're going to start with this one and see if she does a little overview. I haven't watched this one of it, but I did watch, like, I don't even want to replay his story on here because it's so disturbing, guys. It is so horrific. I can't even play it on this channel. I really, really can't. So that's why I'm playing, like, through this woman's, like, review of it. In hopes that maybe she censors it a little bit. I haven't watched it, but yeah, it's so disturbing, like, his experience. And this woman basically has started looking into him and seeing if it's, like, his story is lining up. You've always got to consider your source. You've always got to look into it, and that's good. So... Hey, Lisa 1, Lisa 2, Mimi. No, Donna contacted me about this, Miss Peggy, actually. And that's how I learned about it, was through Donna Serafina. She sent, and I was like, oh my gosh. But when I heard, I'll tell you when we get to the one that I was like, I wanted to, like, it really made me sick. I instantly stopped it and was like, I have to go live about this. This is crazy. I need somebody to talk to about this. And so this is him as a little boy.
I need you to go look up this story right now. Sascha details who, what, when, how, times, these festivals. They detail documentation in different places that back up their claim. And I personally can say that I have deep dove and there is not a single thing that doesn't seem to line up. I need everybody to go find this interview. And later today, I'll post what my own research has come up with. Sascha Riley. And they are willing to testify to everything. A new survivor has come forward in the Epstein trap. Oh, breaking Epstein news today, everybody, because the Clintons are...
Wait, I don't think this is the one I would...
Okay, now that we've had a day or two to really live with Sascha Riley's story, I'm going to take you through my deep dive process. Because so far, I have found not a single shred of evidence that discredits anything that Sascha has said. And for the record, everybody, Sascha goes by they, them pronouns, so that's how I will be referring to them. Now remember, this is all alleged, my own opinions, and please don't contact anyone. So starting in 2021, Sascha was being public about what their father did to them. He also have been...
So he says, okay...
my own opinions,
let's
and please don't contact anyone. So starting in
a little bit more. Says, okay, so he starts posting in January 20th of 2021. Wow. So 5 days after Summer goes missing. Let me pull up my chat, though, so I can see what you guys are saying, because I can't see anything from here. Come on now. This phone is so stupid. Never get it fooled. Never. Hate iPhones too. First world problems, right? First world. Okay, I got this. I got the chat here. Hey, Jenny. Good to see you too. Yes. Thank you, Mimi Jean. No negativity today or tonight. Let's truly discuss what this topic. Okay. So here he is posting in January 20th of 2021. He goes, anyone who knows me knows that I can fight. Here's why. As a child, I was a novelty item. If you could beat me, you could arm me. My dad made money off of this. Oh my God, dude. Guys. Okay. I'm saying, trigger warning, this is so disturbing. Oh my God. Then he goes on to say, if you have a tape of the fight, how's you can make it public? You can make it public. If you have a tape of the fight, you can make it public. Ooh. Oh, I don't know. Anyways.
When Sascha was being public about what their father did to them. He also have been...
Okay, he says, hey, Dad, you remember the time you tried to murder me in the backyard? I do. If you are wondering which time, I'm talking about the time you beat me to the ground with a shovel and then tried to get the blank to trample me, the horse to trample me. You know, the one that caught the attention of law enforcement in New Brockton, Alabama, when blank on something street, the one with the something police report.
Publicly accusing their father of trying to unalive them, being completely consistent with what we heard in that interview. I also confirmed that they did live at this address that's mentioned here. And again, all of the details are matching up. Also pay attention to the date that they were publicly coming out and talking about this right when the transfer...
January 17th, 2021, guys. Freaking... it's making me sick to my stomach. She's saying right when the transfer of power too. And do you guys also, and I'm not going to get into political things at all. Okay. Please, let's not get into political fights, but I'm just going to bring up the facts. Dawn Wells has been a huge Trump fan. And even in my tree trimmer interview, they were stating how Dawn Wells was talking about Trump on the day Summer went missing, talking like it was a regular day. I remember that. And Dawn has brought up Trump a lot. And look at this date, January 17th, 2021, guys. Summer went missing 2 days before that. And she's just I don't know. Or no, I'm sorry. She went missing. Okay, no, she went missing June, 6 months after that. Okay. But still, 2021, I still think that's relevant. Gosh, my mind. I freaking been out of the loop for so long. What's up?
Turn the volume of the video up a little bit and down.
Okay.
Setting it real low.
I'm not sure. Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah, I think I can. No? How do you do that? Dang, I wonder how that's possible to do. I know how to do it on Restream, but I'm not seeing it on StreamYard. Oh, I'm not going to play the interviews at all. If you guys want to go watch them, you can. I'm not listening to that story. That's why I'm watching a review of it, because it's too graphic. So I'd rather listen to it through a review channel here. And this is what caught my eye and what made me want to go live about it. So that's just why I'm going over it this way. But yeah, definitely I recommend listening to the interviews if you can stomach it and listen to his own words. I mean, we're seeing some of his posts, in his own words, with me just editing out the parts. So what are you guys saying? So the video is very, very quiet and I'm really loud. Is that what you're saying? Am I loud? Fred, can you come here? Fred. So you're saying I'm too loud?
Yeah. And the video is so low.
I wonder how to turn up the I just changed my volume, but I don't know how to change up.
Every time I turn it up to hear the video, and then when you speak, it's black. Whatever.
I know, but I'm trying to think how I could adjust this. I turned down my volume a bunch. So, I mean, I could turn it down more if you guys think I'm still too loud. Okay. Well, shit. Well, let's try it. I wonder why. Hold on, here we go. I think I turned it up. Let's retry this. Okay. Let's continue.
Power to Joe Biden was happening. And after hearing the interview, we know why. I also found another picture of Sascha as a child along with Irene, the original wife. Again, we don't know how much she was involved in all of this. And I'll be honest, I couldn't find a trace of her anywhere. So I've had to put a pin in Irene for now. This is William Kyle Riley. And I'm going to try not to cry as I say this, but he and his newest wife, Cindy, and with everything in my body, I am hoping that this 6-year-old child does not live with them, even though they clearly have a room. I did in fact confirm that William Kyle Riley is a pilot. Now through William, I was able to track down Mary Lynn Riley, and sure enough, in 2018, she's there as being dead. Through her date of death, I was able to track down the picture of this monster as well. And on the surface, it seems like a normal obituary, right? Until you start reading it. Because
okay, this is the part. I guess this is just getting right into it, guys. This is going to make your stomach turn. She spent her time volunteering at several organizations in Johnson City, visiting friends in nursing home. So that she talks about ties to, this is the mother I'm guessing this is the mother of Sasha Riley, and yeah, Johnson City, Tennessee, guys. First of all, like
As much as they talk about all the things about Lynn, they never talk
East Tennessee.
about things like her profession, nor do they mention the time she lived in Georgia and Indiana and Missouri. These people moved around all the time, as if they were trying to keep people from catching on. And then you get to the surviving section, and there's not a single mention of anybody in the Riley family. She talks about her first husband, but not of her second one, nor the adopted child she helped raise. Because her first husband is listed as deceased. They got married the year after they left high school. So who raised their children? Because I sure as fuck hope that they weren't living with this woman, a woman who kept the last name Riley up until
funeral home, and it even says Johnson City right here, guys. Oh my God. This has just been happening. See something? That is why, I mean, he has just started coming out, I guess, or it's just becoming, I don't know why it's just now got popular. I guess it's because these interviews are coming out. But it looks like he started posting in 2021, in January. I'm sorry. I saw, I don't know why I was thinking it said June, Jun. Stupid. But anyway, still 2021. Oh, so yeah, this is creepy. He was
her death. I don't know, there's just something off about it. Now, I personally suspect that they were using false identities, because in her background...
So she was the adopted mother, though, right? Because his rate, this was the adoption
check. I found a nurse's license. Yeah, she was a nurse. A nursing license she didn't get until 1995 under the name Mary Joan Riley. In the state of Indiana, of which she has no record of living there. And in the same background check, all of this...
Indianapolis, Indiana. Oh my God, dude. What the fuck, dude? This is so crazy. And on Trump Drive.
I found in the same place. I found her under Maria Riley, and she lived on Trump Drive in Indiana. And when I looked up the address, it was in a trailer park, and I looked up the whole trailer park that it's in. And guys, the rest of these streets are like names of people. Kirk, Megan, Ashley Joe, Tammy Renee, Justin, Mindy, Travis. I mean, the fact that they lived on Trump Drive in a trailer park with Samantha Drive, I fully recognize that it's basically nothing.
What's interesting about that is that if you didn't know, his friend Samantha, he claimed, was unalived right in front of him because of some, basically, to torture him. And supposedly he brings up Trump a lot. I don't even want to talk about it. It's so disturbing, guys. Like, I don't even want to go into the details and stuff. It's scary. That's why, that's what's more, it's scary. These are our people in power, Samantha was the name of the little girl. And, obviously the address coming up on Trump Drive, when his whole story, it's got Trump all in it, and it's crazy. Trump and other high names in Congress and our state representatives, all the way down to our county. She's going to start naming people, and we're going to see names that we've heard of when talking about the Summer Wells case and Ronnie Lawson and his son. I don't even think I really want to even get into that again, because I'm seriously not trying to piss these people off any more than I probably have. I don't know, guys. I'm pretty tired of being harassed all the time, so I don't know.
thing. But Trump likes to put his name on everything. I just hope this isn't like a weird trophy of some kind. I want to bring this back to wife number 3 for a second because Cindy, I have some questions about. Because I had this weird feeling that William K. Riley was the kind of guy who would put things in his spouse's name to cover up his involvement. And one of the properties that was listed under her and William had been previously owned by the Deutsche Bank. Yes. That Dutch bank, the Dutch bank that Epstein talked about all the time being Trump's downfall, the same bank that was sued by Epstein's victims for $75 million, the same bank that was subpoenaed by the Manhattan DA, the one that Trump sued to block the release of, the one that was fined $150 million for working with Epstein. Now, what would a little single family residence in Georgia be doing owned by a trust from the Dutch bank? A trust that was out of Richmond, Virginia. Now, silly me, I was so flabbergasted with that discovery that I forgot to take a screen grab of the address that was associated with. So today, when I went to go find the address again, I went to Cindy's profile and this happened. That's not the only weird thing about these properties, because I just chose a property at random. When I say that there was probably about 15 addresses listed for these people, I'm not exaggerating. And a lot of sketchy P.O. boxes. But this property in Georgia was sold to an Anthony and Cheryl Cisco. Now, according to his own website, he's an author, a cartoonist, an evangelist, an entrepreneur, a husband, and father. And then I saw him mention on the website that his ministry stretched from Alabama to Boston to Atlanta. But if you go to his LinkedIn, he's actually the director of strategic recruiting at a cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, cloud whatever business with over 20 years of experience in the recruiting industry. Oh, and let's not forget all of his experience at Harvard Business School. But then I looked at his wife's page. She goes from a bank teller in Florida to an export coordinator in the Middle East, Africa, and Europe to an adoption service, then owned a family wedding business, then spent 6 more years as an export coordinator. Again, this could be nothing.
It's important for us to watch this part because it's like you need a little bit of a backstory, okay? Because a little bit. I know you're going to still be confused, but basically you're going to start hearing more and more about this over the days. I promise you, this is big. So I just feel like this is going to, more and more people are going to start talking about this. So don't worry, you're going to hear all about it, I'm sure, if you haven't.
1996, they had a business attached to it called Choice Care Inc. And this is what came up. And this is on the official Georgia Health site. 2017, this property was sold to Southern Crescent SA Child and Advocacy Center, Inc. is solely owned by Republican Georgia State Representative Karen Mathiak, who mentions this nowhere on any of her political websites. Originally formed in 2000, whose address prior to this was this random warehouse, not even kidding, whose address is listed as a P.O. box in another city, where the Rileys also just so happened to have a fucking P.O. box, beginning the same year that this became a registered government entity. Did I also mention it's across the street from a decommissioned train station? And that was one property, y'all. A ton of their addresses have medically sounding businesses like registered to them, like Emergency Sky Care or New Day Treatment Center. I mean, look at William K. Riley's sketchy LinkedIn, unless there's another Bill Riley who also lives in Ranger, Georgia. Now look right here under the education part though, because those are the same years that a lot of the, abuse was happening according to Sascha, because human resources sounds sketchy as hell too. And I've never seen so many people endorse a profile before, let alone one that only has 12 years of experience listed. Now, speaking of weird documentation, now this is another big one for me because Sascha's background check said that they did not get a social security number issued to them until around 1987-88, not till they were like 14 or 15 years old. A lot of us are used to the system now where you're just automatically given a social security number at birth, but back then you had to request it. So it's easy to say, oh, well, the parents just didn't request a social.
I think it's the next one that we're going to watch that is going to start to make you sick. I had to stop and be like, oh my God, I need to go live right now.
Security number until, they were getting a job or something. Except Sascha was adopted, y'all. Meaning they would have needed a social security number to adopt them. I know Sascha said in their interview they just tracked down who their birth parents were. Sascha said their birth parents were located in Oklahoma. Do y'all remember the FBI tip about the girl from Oklahoma? Geographically, that fits into this puzzle. Okay, hold on, guys. Something has come up while I was in the middle of making this video that I need to research. And I still have more to get through, frankly. So I'm going to do a part 2 of this. I will post the second part tomorrow, and I'll put the whole thing sliced together on YouTube. Okay, now that we've had a day or two to...
If you're wearing a hat to hide your thinning...
Y'all, I have figured out how Lindsey Graham fits perfectly into the Sascha Riley testimony, because I've seen people try to use Lindsey Graham as an excuse to discredit Sascha, but now y'all got me hot on the trail, and the dots are dotting, y'all. So if y'all are like me, Lindsey Graham was never on my...
Is this part 2? Let's see. No, we need to go to... This one.
Okay, jumping right back into my Sascha Riley deep dive, so I guess this is part 2. If you haven't seen part 1, go watch it because I'm going to be building on the information that I did in that. Just remember, this is all alleged and my own opinion. So I want to jump back into the property I was talking about in the last video, the SA Center and the Child Advocacy one, the one run by a Georgia State representative. The William and Lynn Riley owned that property from 1995 to 2003 when they sold it to the Ciscos. Then the Ciscos sold it in 2010 to something called IndyMac, and I was just curious where that was going to lead me because IndyMac was a mortgage loan and trust bank that failed in 2008. It collapsed. So I'm curious how they were able to sell it in July of 2010. By the way, in 2008, just before the collapse, the Center for Responsible Lending, a Washington think tank, released a report compiling all of the lawsuits against the Indy Bank by customers and former employees who said that their managers and supervisors pressured them into approving loans or they would risk being fired. Only reason to do that is if there's shady stuff going on. Now, I need y'all to buckle the F up for this next part. Remember how we talked about Samantha and how they used to record CP? Now, Samantha was tortured by both of the parents, and they mentioned that it was in a duplex in Enterprise, Alabama. Yes, there is an address literally in Enterprise, Alabama, that is associated with William Riley. Here's the thing. I tried to type in this address. Nothing comes up because Gilbert Street is only these 2 blocks. I will say I found a house that does look like it is a former converted duplex. It's just weird that there's 2 doors and no pathway for either of them. So why is the address wrong? And I thought, well, maybe it's one of those things that was just wrote down wrong somewhere, or it's been almost 40 years. Maybe there was development on the side of the street. But then I looked at this pin. That pin location shows Glover Street, not Gilbert. And they aren't far from each other, but not so close that it would be an honest mistake by the computer. So on a whim, I decided to type in the same address, just replacing it with Glover Street. And guess whose address that goes to?
Do you know?
Yep. Yeah.
For me.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? That can't, like, maybe it's just another one of those weird things I'm finding on this path. But I'm going to touch on just one more thing before I go. So when I was running Mary Lynn's background, I ran into something that I've never run into before, ever. In all of my background checks I've ever run. I ran into the most amount of email addresses associated with a name that I have ever experienced in my entire life. We're talking about .orgs. We've got small businesses, big businesses, and all of these are some reason registered to Mary Lynn. I've never encountered this many before, guys. I run into maybe 10, 15 tops, and a lot of them are the same names over and over again with different organizations. Like, it's still going. And the names associated with those names are legit, it seems. Like, it's almost overwhelming for me to try and research all those. But so many of them are James Young or Jim Young. Like 30 of them. Like these 2, they're both that guy's business. I mean, she's got business emails from Profoma. This one right here, J.J. Young from City of Key West, Florida.gov. He was literally arrested this year because somebody tapped into a Zoom video interview and disclosed their content. Like, they hacked into somebody's Zoom. And Jim Young was charged with tampering with physical evidence. Why does he have a government email? Well, because he's the city code and ordinance inspector. So he's the guy who knows where all the abandoned and shuttered buildings are. Oh, and one of those emails? Yeah, J. Young Films. Like I said, I haven't found a single thing to discredit Sascha Riley's story. Also, guys, we have a chance to do something really funny on all of this film. Okay, now that we've had a day or two to really live with Sascha Riley's story, I'm going to take you through my deep dive process. Because so far, I have found...
I think this one, okay. That was 2. right here.
Oh, buckle up for part 3, folks, because Sascha Riley has posted their adoption papers, and from it, I have been able to find some of the most damning evidence of a trafficking ring. As always, everything is alleged and my own opinions, but I'm going to just show you the evidence that I have found along the way. Sascha Riley's adoption was finalized in 1978, claiming that they were adopted out of Germany, which doesn't make sense because Sascha said themselves they just recently identified who their birth parents were, and they both live in Oklahoma. The attorney representing the Rileys on this adoption form is Ben Wexler. I wanted to point out the star that Ben signs their name with, by the way, because when I saw that, I was like, well, that seems kind of unprofessional, not to mention a little girly for the 70s. Now, as you can see, these adoption papers are out of Greene County, Tennessee. Using that information, I was easily able to identify the attorney as Benjamin King Wexler. So yes, I guess that star could be interpreted as a K, but I don't think it is, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Ben Wexler had a very extensive career. He was the assistant district attorney from 1969 until
Just said Holston. This is talking about Tennessee.
1976. He then became a Greenville City judge, and while simultaneously was the Greene County attorney from 1978 to 1986. And if you look at these years, you'll notice
this guy
78, claiming that they were adopted out of Germany, which doesn't make sense.
This is basically, guys. Oh my God. Okay. So right now she's going into the guy who signed as the attorney, the district attorney, guys, okay, of the Sascha guy over the adoption, guys. And guess who it's getting tied back to? You're gonna get sick, guys. Seriously, because as much as I looked into this guy, so I just want you to understand what you're looking at. This is a document that was signed. It was an adoption of Sascha Riley, that has come out and talked about this story and claimed that he was trafficked as a child. And he's showing who was over his adoption and who adopted him into that family, which is this district attorney that she's now looking into. And it ties back to East Tennessee, and wait till what you see. And who?
That's because Sascha said themselves they just recently identified who their birth parents were, and they both live in Oklahoma. The attorney representing the Rileys on this adoption form is Ben Wexler. I wanted to point out the star that Ben signs their name with, by the way, because when I saw that, I was like, well, that seems kind of unprofessional, not to mention a little girly for the 70s. Now, as you can see, these adoption papers are out of Greene County, Tennessee. Using that information, I was easily able to identify
Greene County, Tennessee,
by the attorney as Benjamin King Wexler. So yes, I guess that star could be interpreted as a K, but I don't think it is, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Ben Wexler had a very extensive career. He was the assistant district attorney from 1969 until 1976. He then became a Greenville City judge, and while simultaneously was the Greene County attorney from 1978 to 1986. And if you look at these years, you'll notice that there is some weird overlap here. He was ADA while at the same time being a city judge, and then while being a city judge, he was also the Greene County attorney. And for right now, I just want to point out that he was also on a board of trustees for the Holston United Methodist Home for Children. But Ben isn't the only Wexler on this paper, because right there is Gina Wexler, who seemingly worked in the records department in 2008 when apparently Sascha got a copy of this. Gina Sanslow Wexler is indeed his daughter-in-law. And maybe that means nothing. The county was only about 50,000 people population, so maybe it's just a coincidence. But then I looked at Kay Armstrong, who was the clerk in master.
God, guys, Kay Armstrong. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. Here we go, guys.
Of the records. But in this article talking about her retirement in 2023, I've noticed something a little weird. Turns out
wrong. She came up.
Her maiden name is Kay.
He came up in my freaking research so much with the Ronnie Lawson situation with his son. And Dan Armstrong, too.
Solomon Armstrong. So maybe one of my eagle-eyed viewers noticed that the woman who originally filed this adoption paperwork is Polly Solomon, who was not only Kay Armstrong's mother, but was the wife of the sheriff of Greene County, who served as clerk and master until he died, and she was appointed the new clerk and master 8 days after his death, until 1992 when her daughter was appointed the position by Judge Dennis Inman. And thank goodness these people were pretty chatty in their obituaries, because I learned a lot about Polly, like how her daughter married Dan Armstrong.
Oh my God. Oh my God, dude. I told you. Oh my God. I know something's up with this guy, dude. This is so crazy. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Who was the attorney general for the district, but she was
Sascha was the district attorney over the case of Brandon Lawson's situation. Who, like, we're hearing people now saying things like, who have told Fred, who were in jail with him, who said that he got to come and go as he pleased, basically. Like, he had a walkie-talkie from A1 day one, like he was a trustee, and came and he got to go and come as he pleased, too. He supposedly, people claim that he got to check in, like he had to come in at some certain time. Yeah, allegedly. And this dude, Dan Armstrong, was the one who was over that whole shebang. Well, it was his assistant, his assistant, a district attorney that he had do the dirty work. This is crazy, dude. This is crazy. And this is probably why Summer Wells is not solved right now, because we have people like this guy right here who is like, and who is real close to also Ronnie Lawson, from my understanding, allegedly. You know, like, he's real. Ronnie Lawson is real tied in with some of these people, guys, and Dan Armstrong is definitely one of them. This is crazy.
Apparently a member of something called the Order of the Eastern Star.
My God.
Star! Which is an organization dating back hundreds of years that is a companion to Freemasonry. Now, I've never gone down the Freemasonry rabbit hole, but I do know one thing, that survivors have come forward publicly and alleged that multi-generational Freemasonic cults are involved in ritual abuse and trafficking.
The prosecutor over Summer's case.
Isn't he?
Mm-hmm. Because he's one said that they would bring the charges to him, or the people to him.
Yeah, it is true. Yeah, Dan Armstrong is the one that's going to be over Summer's case, guys. He has talked on Summer Wells' case before, BTW. I don't know, guys. I really hate to think bad about Ronnie Lawson, but you know what I mean? I really do. Like, I want to believe like the best in them. I truly do. But I don't know. And I understand wanting to like protect your child and stuff like that. And but I don't like this is too close for comfort, this stuff. I was adopted at 18 months. Me and my brother both, we aren't even 11 months apart in age, and was adopted. Mom said out of her own mouth that my maternal parents were done dirty, but continued to spin a bad narrative about my maternal parents. This is, I don't know. This is about where I stopped.
And weirdly, in Polly's obituary, it literally says that she possessed the ability to reach across Greene County to people that could help meet the needs of others in various sections of our county. All Polly had to do was pick up the phone and call someone in the community or in government, and the needs were met. She, with her husband, took the position of public service many steps further in caring for people, especially children and children of the incarcerated, and meeting the needs of many who were inmates. Polly was an advisor to many political leaders in the East Tennessee area. Guys, I'm just just getting started, so stick with me here.
This obituary myself and read something.
Now, the one signature on this that is the most important and arguably the only one we can't read is the chancellor who signed the adoption papers. Now, me personally, I think it looks most like Dennis Inman, but there's a catch there. You see, at one point, Kay Armstrong sued the mayor of Greenville, and
I remember that. I remember reading about that.
We are going to revisit this lawsuit in a minute, but in that lawsuit, there's the testimony of Judge Inman, who says that he only served as chancellor from the district from 1984 to 1985. So it couldn't have been him. And it was nearly impossible for me to track down any chancellors in 1978 because the whole district was going through like a redistricting process and there was turning over of a bunch of judges. And as it turns out, in these smaller districts, often a judge presides over both chancery and circuit courts. Now, unfortunately, I'm unable to go to Greenville and access these court records. So the most likely candidate is
Greenville has came up so much in Summer Wells, like
Judge Thomas Hull, who is often cited.
And then this like brings you back to like Sean Williams. You don't think that Sean Williams ties into all this? You know, guys, like that's why when TBI is saying this is bigger than anything they have ever dealt with, or was it TBI? Whoever said that, it's true, no matter who said it. So, in my opinion, yeah, Andy's mom. Well, they're not talking about Polly Bernard, but it is weird how, and that's what I'm saying. The good old boy system. And you guys need to go look at they're voting in a sheriff in Eastern Tennessee, Hawkins County. And people really need to be very careful who they're electing. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to come out here and freaking badmouth anybody, but, like Scott Stewart or, I hear there's another guy named Ronnie Miller, possibly, maybe, or some of these other ones. I'm just saying I would really steer clear. Just saying. In my opinion. That's my opinion. I know, there's I don't know. I'm wondering, with this all coming out and Sean Williams saying, I know they are settling certain things. I don't know. I just wonder if we're kind of something that's going to be unraveled here. I don't want to be up in the middle of this shit. When it does, that's for serious. I don't want to be it's already scary enough, as is with lunatics on the internet. And then, to have to think that there could be law enforcement involvement, because it just makes me wonder, with Donna's reading, even without Donna's reading, it's still especially because of what happened with Ronnie Lawson's son. That situation, really got me looking into all these people. And had that not happened, yeah, Ronnie's son really screwed, he really fucked up big time. Greene County is voting a new sheriff also. Yeah, they need to probably be very careful with that too. I'm pretty positive. Greene County is right there, right next to, Hawkins. Ben Hill Road might as well be Greene County and Sullivan and Hawkins. Really, they're all three so close. So you can't tell me that they don't overlap as far as I don't think the corruption stops at Hawkins. No, Dan Armstrong, I believe, is over Greene County. I believe actually, isn't he over a few counties? I forget how that works, but no, he's over Greene County, I think. And that's the county we're talking about here. And Greene County is like, seriously, what, a mile away from Ben Hill Road or something? I mean, Fred's not right here, but maybe, Freddie, you could say in the chat, it's not far. It's right there at the back of Ed Redmond's property. Adopted mom claims maternal grandma gave us to her, but maternal grandma tells me a different story. She tells me adopted mom was just watching us while maternal grandma worked. Sean Williamson came up. Dawn went very quiet.
Yeah, Hawkins, Sullivan, Greene, and Washington County comes to a point on Ben Hill Road.
Okay, so all four of them.
It's about a half a mile from Don Rose's on up the hallway.
So that's four counties that, you know, you have to like, you know, they're all really, really tight. And that's, I know from looking into it, I remember seeing Dan's name came up so much with Ronnie Lawson.
As the circuit judge and the chancery in that district around that era. Now, it just so happens that Thomas Hull was not only a member of the Tennessee
Judge at Hawkins County, he serves Greene County and Hamlin County and Hawkins.
And that's Duggar.
The prosecutor, the criminal court.
Who's that?
Uh,
Is it Duggar?
I don't know if it's Doug or Ross.
Duggar or Ross?
I can't remember which one it is. Ross. Which one? That's why he just in Hawkins County once every 3 months. They alternate him.
That's a lot of power for one person. Why is this like not letting me play it? Here we go.
House of Representatives, but from 1979 to 1981, he was the legal counsel for Governor Lamar Alexander, who was not only the governor of Tennessee, not only a U.S. senator for 18 years.
Hold on, what did she just say? Sorry.
And there was turning over of a bunch of judges. And as it turns out, in these smaller districts, often a judge presides over both chancery and circuit courts. Now, unfortunately, I'm unable to go to Greenville and access these court records. So the most likely candidate is Judge Thomas Hull, who is often cited as the circuit judge and the chancery in that district around that era. Now, it just so happens that Thomas Hull was not only a member of the Tennessee House of Representatives, but from 1979 to 1981, he was the legal counsel for Governor Lamar Alexander, who was not only the governor of Tennessee, not only a U.S. senator for 18 years, but was the Secretary of Education under George H.W. Bush. He wasn't just his legal counsel, he was his longtime friend, because Lamar showed up at the funeral. Hull was also the one who recommended Dennis Inman as the circuit judge to Alexander. No matter how you interpret it, it's shady. And Judge Hull was apparently very active in helping the Holston United Methodist Home for Children. Yes, the same one that Ben Wexler was on the board of trustees of. And perhaps some of y'all picked up.
Like Holston Valley?
On it, but look at the maiden name of Ben's wife. Yeah, he had a nephew, Brandon Hull, who was the CEO of the Greenville banks that were owned by his father, Judge Thomas Hull. Yeah, so Thomas Hull was related to Benjamin Wexler. He was married to Thomas Hull's sister. But you know what? None of this means anything. None of this is concrete proof of anything. It could just be a coincidence that they're all related. Never mind, let me cook. Because we're going to bring it back to Sascha Riley's father, William Riley. Because William Riley is associated with an address in Greenville, Tennessee. But I could only find the earliest record for this residence as 2006. So we don't know if they owned the house, they just lived in that house. We don't know what it is. What we do know is the earliest owners I could find was Stanley and Kathleen Horde. And it turns out Kathy Horde was the vice president of human resources at Holston United Methodist Home for Children. Y'all remember how I said it was weird that Bill Riley's LinkedIn had him listed as human resources? resources for Troy University. Not only do they have a creepy ass prayer page, but there are also horses and barns involved in this home for children. Not only does that line up with some of the shit that Sascha was saying, but who was it that had a thing for horses? Oh yeah, Jelaine Maxwell. I also found this business called Horde Russell Alliance associated with the address. Well, surprise, surprise, no such business I could find. But what it did lead me to was a Russell Wexler, Benjamin Wexler's son, who is briefly mentioned in the lawsuit from Kay Armstrong to that mayor, where we find out that Russell Wexler was apparently working with Polly Solomon in the court office where he
Kay Armstrong, who is she to Dan? Is that like, are they married? This is a lot of info to keep up with. Do you know who Kay Armstrong is to Dan? They were saying it earlier. I don't know if they're married or but let me see. Let's see. Dan Armstrong's wife, Greenville, Tennessee. Yep, it's Kay. It is Kay Armstrong. That's crazy.
He handled conservationships and guardianships, which after his death was handed over to Miss Gina Wexler. So now they clarify that whatever Gina Wexler's title is for the county, she handled investments, she was the bookkeeper for the county, and was in charge of all of the children that were in conservationships and guardianships. And as it turns out, Russell Wexler not only worked at the Chancery Court for 25 years, but he also served on the board at ComCare Inc., a place where both of his brothers reside. Turns out that ComCare is a home for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Now, I know I heard somebody talking about a story that a victim told where there was a cult and they sacrificed a disabled boy, but I cannot remember for the life of me where I heard it or any of that information. So if anybody remembers it, please tell me. By the way, that home for children, it seems like they are no longer doing adoptions. And in fact, weirdly enough, they put up a list of Philippine adoption agencies in like a bunch of different states, which has me very confused and grossed out. Like I recommend just going and looking around because there's just, it's weird because this place seems more like a country club than a children's home. And I also looked at it on the map and I noticed that there's a lot of open space, sure, for horses and stuff, but then there's this whole big other chunk over here with what looks to be like a string of barns and a lake. I don't know what I found. I don't know. It just feels like something. And to Sascha, I genuinely hope this video finds you. Y'all, I have figured out how Lindsey Graham fits perfectly into the Sascha Riley testimony because I've seen people try.
Let's see. Let's do East Tennessee. Sascha Riley. I want to see.
My name is William Sascha Riley. I was born Manuel Sascha Barros, but my legal name is William Sascha Riley at this time.
Okay, tell me everything that you've been wanting to say. Testimony, getting
We'll see
testimony
where this goes.
of what you experienced, what abuse you suffered, and what you were witness to.
I am for whatever puts a light on this because in my mind, the powers that be are already aware of my position on it and aware that I have spoken up. And, you know, the more light that is shed on there, I don't think that I'm incurring more risk, except for some maybe lunatic that wants to be a soldier for Donald Trump. I don't mind whatever would bring a little bit more light to this, particularly this stuff.
Wow.
If we can get some of this stuff verified, and I know that me speaking up is one thing, but then the verification process,
Yeah.
Is important too. I am confident that it's there because somebody that I served with in the Army got put out of the Army. My chain of command talked to me and they said, hey, some of these images, some of the films or whatever that he had looked just like you. And that was the first time I think I had ever talked to anybody about having done those films. And I told them, yes, when I was a child, I had to do those things. My name is William Sascha.
That's crazy, dude. I was trying to find something else on East Tennessee.
Back when the Southern District of New York supposedly found millions more pages of the Epstein files. A little unbelievable, right? Just poof, there they are. I said then, and I know I'm not alone.
Before we talk about the interview with Sascha Riley, I'm going to show you a 10-second video. That's what my 12-year-old daughter was doing last night. She was making a video of something that was trending that she saw. She cut out the little pieces of foil from a chocolate wrapper that she got at Christmas. And she made that video and she showed it to me and my wife, and I watched it probably 20 times and I was laughing out loud. If you haven't had a chance to go to Substack and listen to the interview with Sascha Riley, I haven't completed it, but I've spent most of the day off and on listening to what he is saying. And
Yeah, it's pretty
he
horrible.
talks about things that happened to him when he was 11 and 12 and even younger. And it just really, it really got to me. Listening to him talk about the things he was experiencing when I know that my daughter, who's 12, is in the safest place she could ever be, with parents who don't put her in situations where she, like Sascha talks about, being forced to fight and fend adults off. So
I want to start by saying that I know that this is a highly sensitive story and it deserves to be handled with care. It is not my intention in this video to prove to you that every claim made in this story is true. My intention is to walk through
about. I just wanted to show you guys how this is. I think you guys are going to see more and more people talking about this. And yeah, and it's, I don't know. I wonder if there's anybody, if there's people scared, about this coming out. I hope all these people are exposed. I seriously do.
publicly available timeline and many facts that I do not hear being covered, because so much of the focus for the people that are covering Mr. Riley's story is this a conspiracy? Is it a psyop? What I want to do is, I don't want to act as judge and jury. I want to look at the facts against the available proof, and then I want to let it sit while we all collectively decide how we feel about it. If you haven't heard the interviews, I will link them in the comment section. And if you can't listen to them, which it took me a week to get through them because it's a lot emotionally, I will also link to a PDF which summarizes basically what was said, the events, and a basic timeline. With all of that out of the way, and with all of the respect that I can muster to cover this story, this is the Sascha Riley story. I'm aware that Sascha uses they, them pronouns, but for the purposes of this video, because I'm talking about so many different people, I don't want there to be any confusion about who I'm talking about. So I will be addressing Sascha as he for those purposes only. Sascha was born in 1973. Birth name was Manuel Sascha Barros. He was adopted when he was 4 into what he says was a trafficking network. The man that adopted him was a pilot. His name is William Kyle Riley. Okay, and that is the man that raised Sascha Riley. William Kyle Riley, again, that's the father. He was a pilot, and his family has very well documented.
Isn't that weird? A pilot. That's came up a lot with Donna's readings. And also, what about Tim Mullins? He's really, and Don Wells, you know, his little videos with those little planes.
Documented ties to the Dixie Mafia, which has a long history of crime and trafficking. So we'll just leave that there. The adoption took place in Ranger, Georgia, which from everything that I can find is where the father still lived. Again, I'm not going to go over the specifics. It's worth stating that there are a lot of allegations that he was part of these parties that were happening and that there was a lot of SA and things that shouldn't have been happening. So around the age of 18, he joins the U.S. Army, serves honorably, earns decorations, and somewhere around 2008 at Fort Carson, a fellow soldier was caught with child porn on his laptop. And some of that material included videos of Sascha Riley. So the people in command brought it to his attention and asked him, is this you? And he said, yes, it is. It's important to say that even all the way back then, that was almost 20 years ago, those people were aware that these were children in a child film. If you've made it this far in the video, please put the words "we want the truth" in the comment section, like, repost, and follow for updates. In February 2023, Sascha starts to speak out. Major, just little posts on Twitter. He referenced Epstein, he referenced the parties.
Even him posting in 2021.
He named names. He didn't have a big following, so it doesn't go viral, you know, but it's there. That's the point, okay? It's documented, it's consistent. I say that because there's a lot of talk that, like, you know, oh, he came out of nowhere to affect the 2026 midterm. No, he's been talking about this for quite some time now. And I think it's important to say that he has been as transparent as Saran Wrap, posting everything to include his adoption records, all the contacts that he's had. We'll get into more of that in a second. And for 2 years while he was doing this, nobody reached out to him, no law enforcement. And he repeatedly said that he was willing to testify under oath. And he was basically calling out the systemic failures about, you know, statute of limitations, that there was this huge system of people who were basically covering it up. And still no response until the summer of 2025. After Epstein-related documents surfaces, the FBI reaches out to Sascha Riley. Of course, he responds immediately, providing records, notebooks, testimony. For the first time in his life, there's someone in an official capacity who's listening. But of course, no investigation followed. So in September of 2025, Sascha proactively reaches out to Democratic aides on the House Oversight Committee. He travels to DC. He handed over both physical and digital evidence. He offered a polygraph. He offered sworn testimony. And then he did something that most survivors could not probably ever stomach doing. He sat down and he recorded a 4-hour interview with journalist Lisa Noel Volding. Calm, detailed, consistent. It's released publicly. No monetization gimmick, no hiding behind a paywall, no anonymity. Just, here's my story, verify it. Then in November 2025, the Epstein files, some of them were released, thousands of pages. And Sascha points out the overlaps between those documents and his story, logs, pilots, still no direct acknowledgement. Then in early January 2026, just a few days ago, his story begins to explode online, tens of thousands of engagements. And then he met with Oklahoma law enforcement. He named names and he posted the contacts of the people that he met with publicly. He told them, release the records publicly for the survivors. And as of today, he has left the United States for safety reasons, which I'm sure I don't need to enumerate for you. But he is standing in the open saying, test me, verify me, put me under oath. Goes with this. I know that there are a lot of people questioning the veracity of this story. And that's fair. There are a lot of atrocious things talked about in those interviews. But I think it's more important to focus on the touch points, right? Because until you get some kind of documented credibility, which can only be verified by the timeline and the touch points that can be verified, legal records, police reports, etc., until that happens, it's all speculation. And I don't know what it's going to take to push a story like this to the top, but I wanted to make sure to put it on your radar for Sascha and for all the survivors who either cannot speak out for themselves anymore or who still today are afraid for their own lives. I want to start by saying that I know.
Yeah, guys.
Okay, now that we've had a day or two to really live with Sascha Riley's story, I'm going to take you through my deep dive.
My name is William Sascha Riley. I was born Manuel Sascha.
If you don't know who Sascha Riley is, then you need to find out. If this man's story goes public, then it can single-handedly turn America upside down. And when I say public, I don't mean just social media. Now, I'm going to say some things without saying them because you know they don't like you talking about those files. And y'all know what files I'm talking about. So this guy, Sascha Riley, was adopted in 1977.
Oh my God. Is that him right here?
For the purposes of trafficking. And allegedly, he's saying that he was trafficked from the age of 9 to 13 between the people that we can't say on this app. His father worked with somebody very important, and I don't need to say his name. He said that these important people were making snuff films involving children. Now, I don't know if you know what snuff films are,
Stuff,
but you
guys.
need to look it up and find out.
Hey, Tina.
Because this shit gets worse than that. So he says that this very important person allegedly arrived at a party declaring that he wanted to unalive somebody. And they said this wasn't that type of party. The important person was disappointed. But the host says, we have some puppies. We wasn't planning on keeping them. You heard what I just said? Sascha Riley then said, allegedly, he watched this important person slaughter those puppies.
Oh my gosh.
One by one.
Even
Sascha Riley also said that he watched a girl that was with him be unalived in front of him. Now, this testimony is going around. You can see it on Threads. You can see it on X. You can see it a couple of places. I will not put it here. What people are doing right now is trying to see if that testimony is actually correct. But let me say this. He is a survivor. He has proof that he was on that island. And you know exactly what island I'm
crazy that there were, like, when his parents, his adopted sicko parents are over in Johnson City. Or were buried there. The mom was buried there. Looks like the dad's still alive. Like, what the hell? And I think he's over in East Tennessee. I mean, he's tied to these people, and there's this freaking ring that he's tied to, and he's right there, right where Summer Wells went missing. Like Fred literally just said, right there, Ben Hill Road. Right there is like, or what did he say about Beach Creek is where 4 corners of Washington, Greene County, Sullivan, and Hawkins meet. So when we talk about Greene County, you know, it's very, very much, very important to Summer Wells' case. I just need people to understand that. And this is like very scary. And that's why why it's taking so long to get answers, because nobody wants to be the ones that do something about it, you know? Ruffle the feathers, because, I mean, do you understand if this goes up to our president, you know, how do you freaking do something like that? How do you, I mean, this would, like this guy saying, turn things so up, like everything upside down. Like, I don't know. I know the puppy thing, I really didn't want that to be repeated, guys. I can't even. I'm really happy that he's not in the United States because I was really worried about that. I don't know, guys.
If you don't know who Sascha Riley is, then you need to find out. If this man's story goes public, then it can single-handedly turn America upside down. And when I say public, I don't mean just social media. Now, I'm saying that he was trafficked.
For those who want to hear more about Sascha Riley but would rather hear it from Sascha themselves, take a look at some of these updates. I'm going to show you 2 posts from their Threads account.
To all the people reaching out, thank you. I'm a little bit overwhelmed right now, so I'm just listening to music. Right now, it's Dusty Springfield. The next song is Buffalo Springfield. For what it's worth, the song is relevant today as it has ever been.
Count within the last 24 hours. This is the first one, just saying to all the people reaching out, thank you. I'm a bit overwhelmed right now, so I'm just listening to music. Right now it's Dusty Springfield. The next song is Buffalo Springfield. For what it's worth, we shot it last night, so it's 12-ish hours old now, but Sascha also said last night over on Threads, we are working on something. There are more people involved than just me. We still have more information to release first, then we're gonna do a whole bunch of stuff. And first and foremost, I wanna shut down the skeptics because I can already hear y'all saying, oh, shut up. Shut up. If you do not believe Sascha, that's your right. Scroll away.
What's this one say? I'm kind of taking a step back. There's literally an army of people putting the pieces together. I'm going to let those pieces paint the picture.
And stop talking about it. But if you do believe and you do care and you have a Threads account, a Blue Sky account, Sascha just posted on Threads yesterday that they had downloaded Blue Sky, so I went ahead and followed them over there. They are also on Facebook, which is where a bunch of their old posts detailing the horrors they went through are posted. I am obviously gonna talk about this stuff and continue sharing this information.
Sascha Riley, what he was saying is he was adopted by a pilot. That pilot was working with Epstein. He was one of Epstein's handlers. And the part that just honestly is so crazy that you guys might not have gotten from this yet is this predates the Epstein Island. In these interviews, he is talking about how he was getting flown out to certain farms in different states. I believe Tennessee was one of them, Oklahoma. I'm not sure about the other states. I don't want to put a name on them yet, but states that have a lot of land where there's not a lot of people around, these elite rich people with a lot of money would get flown in and they would watch these events that would happen on these farm fields. And what he was saying is how they set it up is it's almost like a fair. As a fair, as in where they keep the animals and you go into the tent.
This is crazy, guys.
And you can only see what's going on in the tent.
Because this is exactly very similar to Donna's reading, unfortunately. You can't deny that. You can't.
That's how he was basically saying it's set up. He said they also would hold fights with underage people. And they would battle in there and fight. Not just underage, he was saying. He said from all types, too. It wasn't just underage. Not that I'm defending this in any ways, but they just did a lot of freaky shit here. And he was talking about how he even was set to fight in these cages when he was around 7, 8 years old. By the time he said he was 12, 13, that's when they didn't want him anymore because he became too much of a risk. Sascha Riley, what he was saying is he was adopted.
I like that guy's take.
So him and the girl were in the bed and they're doing it, and security guard walks in for a snuff film. And after they did that, they told him, listen, there's going to be someone else that's about to come in this room.
Oh, God.
You better listen to everything he says and everything he does.
I don't know if I can listen to this.
This will happen to you. Guess who comes walking in? Donald Trump. So Donald Trump supposedly bends over.
Oh, hell no.
And orders the kid to,
I'm not listening to that, but you guys get it. – I'm stopping that there because It's so disturbing. You know where to find it. It's all over right now. Everybody's talking about it. I just, I haven't been coming live because there hasn't been anything to talk about, and I just feel like this is worth like looking into a little bit because it literally goes right to right there. It's so crazy that, Dan Armstrong is tied, his family, actually his wife, was the one that signed the document for Sascha Riley's adoption. She must have been super young. Because he's like 52, right? So how old is she now? She older than him? How old is Dan Armstrong? How old is Dan Armstrong, Greene County, Tennessee?
Dan Armstrong, the former district attorney for Greene County, was 55 in 2014.
Former?
He would be around 66 years old in early 2026. He was born either in 1959 or 1958.
How old is Kay Armstrong, Dan Armstrong's wife?
Kay Armstrong, the wife of Dan E. Armstrong, was around 65 years old when she retired in April 2023. That means she is likely in her late 60s now, but her exact birth date isn't available.
If he's 52, that means she would have had, was she a notary at like 18 years old or something? It looked like she was the one that notarized that document. That's how it gets tied back to Dan Armstrong. Well, Kay Armstrong even, I mean, yeah, this is crazy shit, guys. I bet there's some people scared right now. Anyways, guys, thank you for being here. It was good seeing everybody. I'm sure we'll be around if there's something. I've been posting shorts and stuff like that. Like if we have, I'm going to be doing these little clips of me, like, because we're always talking about the Summer Wells case. So anytime I'm doing these like random thoughts, where me and Fred will just be talking on something about Summer Wells, or it doesn't even have to be really Summer Wells, but that's the main one. Random Thoughts is mainly for Summer Wells. So anyways, I hope everybody's doing well. Remember, Kay worked for her dad. For whose dad? Ben Wexler. Oh, wait. So Ben Wexler. Ben Wexler was the attorney, right? The district attorney at the time who signed the document, his adoption document. He was the district attorney. That's what I think that's who that Ben Wexler was, right? Wasn't he the district attorney? And then Kay was the notary or whatever who signed that adoption document. Because this would have been, if he was only like 4 years old, I think she's saying that the adoption was when he was like 4, if I'm right. If I don't know, I mean, that means that would have been like 48 years ago. And she would have been like maybe 18 to 20 years old. Kay worked for her dad. Ben was... Wow, that is great. That is weird. Okay, see how this even goes even deeper? So Ben Wexler, 1 second, Jamie. I'm not forgetting you, but 1 second. So Kay worked for her dad. Her dad was Ben Wexler, who was the district attorney at the time, who now Dan Armstrong, well, according to Google, he is not. Dan Armstrong isn't the district attorney, but he was during the time that the Brandon Lawson situation happened, and he was over that whole thing. So what? I thought that. Wait. So Dan Armstrong's not the district attorney anymore? Is Dan Armstrong a district attorney? Blah, blah, blah.
According to Tennessee District Attorneys General Conference, Armstrong was then elected District Attorney General in 2014. Search.
I think he still is. So it's somewhere it said former, but I'm pretty sure he still is. And that's who's going to be the district attorney over Summer Wells. Looks like he's still on the Greene County website right now. As far as I see him, I'm sorry, he's not. He is. I don't know. I don't want to be mean, but he is right there on their website. Let me turn down the brightness even more and see if you guys can see. That's him. And he is on the Greene County. It says serving Greene, Hamblin, Hancock, and Hawkins. Greene, Hamblin, Hancock, and Hawkins. So yeah, very interesting, is it not? Dan Armstrong is directly tied to this Sascha Riley freaking situation. That's insane. Dan Armstrong and his wife, the same freaking district attorney that was over Brandon Lawson. This is freaking pretty big, in my opinion. And the same district attorney that's going to be over Summer Wells' case. Mind blown. Jamie says, please say a prayer for my mother-in-law. She's in the hospital with a broken hip and has to have hip replacement surgery. I will definitely keep your mother-in-law in my prayers for sure, Jamie. I feel like I need to go live and do readings again. I haven't for a while, but 9 of Cups, a wish fulfillment. So I think it's gonna be okay, Jamie. Yeah, I see it being a successful surgery. I feel like usually I don't like doing health stuff, but that one's not a life or death one. So, but I'll definitely keep her in my thoughts and prayers. But so Ben Wexler, that is insane. I guess it's hard for me to keep remembering all this stuff. You guys like my nails? I had to redo these two. I haven't painted them yet because I didn't have enough time, so I hurried and this is the gel's that color. I had to, so that's why it's off in color because those broke off. I'm still learning. But anyways, let's see what this is. Somebody email me. Open threads. I've never used threads. Enable. So what is this? I hope a bar club or other good men provide protection for Sascha. Okay, somebody sent me the thread that's talking about Sascha on the Threads app or whatever. So crazy. Says his parents tried to unalive him several times to cover up their crimes. Hey, pretty sweet pea. No. Well, not for a while, anyways. So, anyways, guys, I'm going to get off here. It was really good seeing everybody, though. And I'll be back when there's some kind of news. Hopefully, hopefully we'll have something come out in Summer Wells. I don't know what all this stuff is gonna. If this stuff with this Sascha guy, if it's going to just if it's just going to blow over, or if anything's gonna come of it. I don't know. Should I do let's draw a card real quick before I go for those of you who are into that. Since it's just the end of the reading or end of the live anyway, so those who aren't into it, it's okay if you go. I understand. Let's see if anything's gonna what's gonna happen. Anything's gonna come of this. The Hierophant. Hierophant is like about God. Or Four of Pentacles. Deliverance. Four of Cups. There is something about a judgment, so I kind of wonder if he's going to get some kind of like settlement. I mean, gosh, that's the least I guess could happen. 9 of Wands. It's like a battle for like trying to put out some kind of truth or what. Whoa. King of Wands gives answers to those in doubt. So mental force protects against sorrows and illness. So trying to put out some kind of truth. 10 of Pentacles. There's something like secretive, so I kind of wonder if there's going to be some kind of settlement to shut him up, to be honest. kind of feel like they're gonna try to pay him to be quiet. That's what I feel like. Yeah, I feel like he's gonna get some kind of settlement. We'll see. I wish though that I'm not, I didn't draw a bunch or anything. I didn't ask about arrest or anything to do with Tennessee or whatever. Hey, Amos. Amos, me and you need to do a reading. It's about time. It's getting that time. Is there a question you want me to ask about it? Is this tied to Summer Wells? Is this Sascha stuff tied to Summer Wells? Like, I don't know if I want to take that one. The Empress. Empress is about a mother. The mother. I mean, the mother passed away in Johnson City, or is buried in Johnson City, so I don't know. Is this tied to Summer Wells? I hate how, no, I need it to come out correctly. Page of Wands. Nine of Swords, which that's about anxieties, nightmares, religious sentiments. It literally says religious sentiments on it. Once again, something about religious. This card says religious too. What the guys? That's weird. That is weird. Something about, because both cards, both of these right here, it says influences religious men. It also says spiritual communication. But right here, the whole religious. And then this card, I look down, it says religious sentiments. There's something about, so religious like ties or connection. So, because I was asking, is this connected to Summer Wells? And there's something about religion. That's weird. Oh, thank you, Jamie. And I don't have any filters. All right. Whoa. Hermit and Ten of Pentacles. Spiritual progress. Something about family. Family. I feel like there some kind of ties to Summer Wells. Something about family. No, knowing family. Page of Swords. The Empress again. That came up earlier. The mother. Something about Candace. Or is it, wait, is it Candace or is it the mother of Sascha? Three of Swords, some kind of heartbreak. Influences paternal love. Something about a mother. A mother. What's that? I wonder, is that Candace or is that... So a tie between the two mothers, like between Sasha's adopted mom and Summer Wells' mom. Is that Knight of Pentacles? Light of understanding acquires knowledge and the mothers move something forward. A mother's connection. So like something about the mother in each case and their ties. So I wonder where Sasha's, it would be interesting to look into Sasha's adopted mom and her connections in East Tennessee and Johnson City, where she, I guess, was tied to. Greene County. Also, yeah, and Candace's. Anyways, this tied to this Sasha thing tied to Summer Wells. Justice makes truth known in court, causes innocence to prevail. And then there's something about father figure. Moving forward. I mean, that's good to get the justice card. Like, that's, like, obviously getting some kind of justice. I mean, we want to see that definitely in Summerwell's case. That's weird, though, to see. That's in the future position, too, is the justice card. You know, when I was asking. So, and it has to do with family, too. Both of them, there's something about family. The family knowing. More about what this justice means in the near future when it comes to Summer Wells and the connection to this case, if there is one, or to his situation. Nine of Cups, wish fulfillment. Wow. Showing that there's going to be a wish fulfillment when it comes to justice and being able to move on to calmer waters, or move on from the past. The Six of Cups, which is about the past. Nine of Cups is a wish fulfillment, and that came out on top of justice. And that's when it comes to Summer Wells and something to do with also the Sascha Riley case. So I wonder if this Sascha situation is going to help bring justice to Summer Wells. Wouldn't that be crazy? And that's what I was kind of wondering, too. It's almost like something's going to cause somebody to come forward, or could have something to do with, I wonder, the sun. Judgment. Two of Cups, which that's probably about the parents. That would be freaking crazy. I hope so, guys. I hope that I hope this attention from this Sascha situation does put eyes on East Tennessee and does bring answers to Summer Wells, and also bring answers to other cases too. You know, like Amos is saying, Sascha did go through so much. If, you know, a religious organization, it's, I don't know, it's scary, especially, you know, it bringing up our president. I don't even want to say the name. I don't want to get freaking, I don't know. It's scary. You know, I've been so heavily invested in this Summer Wells case for so long. It's, you know, crazy to think that there could be such things involved. You know what I mean? that could explain why there has been so much drama and pushback surrounding this, and why there's claims of people being paid and shit, you know? Why nothing's moving forward quickly anyways. I mean, there's certain things, there definitely could have been arrest way before now, but there's some kind of obstacles in the way, in some way. Yeah, I'm not going to be like talking about it like much. I'm not getting involved in, I'm just saying I know that this is probably going to be a topic of discussion for a lot of people in the coming days. And do you have anything to say on it? Did you know that Edmund name that came up? Edmund? Edmund. I-N-M-A-N. I-N-M-A-N. Man. Edmund. Forget the guy's name, but he's one of the Summer's case was really something much bigger. Yep. And it sounds so similar to Donna Serafina's reading, you know? And these planes and shit. So, anyways, guys, I appreciate you all. Hey, miss. We're going to have to do a reading soon. Anybody else wants to do a reading, get at me. Love you guys, and I'll talk to you later.